I'm on the range with Benelli's M3 Super 90 Combat. I've used Benelli's a lot before and this gun is nothing new. However, because I've paid so much homage and written so much lately on other shotguns, I don't want to neglect what a lot of people feel like is the most badass tactical shotgun ever devised. Hey guys, I have one of the most badass new tactical shotguns that I want to tell you about. It's nothing new, but it's just worthy of telling you about. But before that, I want to take a couple of seconds for JJ's political time. And this week, I'm responding to San Jose, California Mayor Sam Liccardo's call to tax gun owners for any crimes or damage they may commit. Well, I've got a little tip for you, old Sammy boy. Why not tax the criminals? Perhaps when they're in jail making license plates, you could tax them that money so they could pay for their crimes. Oh, but wait a minute. You don't believe in putting criminals in jail. Rather, you believe in punishing the law-abiding for their mistakes. But I digress. This is one of the coolest shotguns known to man. This is Benelli's M3 Super 90 Combat. I'm not going to waste your time with telling about every feature of this Benelli. What makes it cool is that it's dual action. It's a semi-automatic action, as you can see on the range. Shoots just normally. With the flick of this button, it converts to a pump shotgun. Back to semi-automatic, you just push that up and it locks. And now it's a semi-automatic just like any Benelli. But if you drop the gun, it gets dirty as hell, you're in the sand, or you're using lighter, low recoil loads or less than lethal loads, all you do, and you can do this with just a flick of your finger, you switch that and it becomes a pump. So you've got the best of both worlds now. So I don't want anybody complaining, yeah, but semi-automatics jam every time. Well, they're certainly not quite as reliable as pumps, but you do get vast benefits from semi-automatics. Lower recoil, certainly faster. A lot of them are so reliable these days that with proper ammo, it's neck and neck. You're talking like 99.1% effective to 99.9% effective on pumps. But for guys that just don't feel comfortable going into combat or when the shit hits the fan with the semi-automatic, this is the ultimate gun because you have the best of both worlds. Other than that, the main thing I like about this gun, rather than some of the tactical shotguns, is it has a no BS, full-figured, full-size stock. It's just so critical for shotguns to really get a good cheek weld. If you have your head up or against a metal bar, it's just not intuitive. You can actually shoot this shotgun like it's meant to be shot because you have a good consistent cheek weld. It not only mitigates recoil, but also I've never been a huge fan of pistol grips, mainly I admit because I'm a hunter. I'm not a law enforcement guy, so those guys have tons more experience than I do in actually kicking down doors and using these tactical shotguns. I haven't been a huge fan of these because normally if you get a pistol grip, it means you have a bullshit buttstock. But this is the best of both worlds, and why it's handy is because you can control this gun with this pistol grip because all that weight is riding right there. You can control this gun, shoot it if you had to, and control it with one hand while you're doing other things. And actually, I can do that because of this pistol grip. It's a lot harder like that. So there are merits to this pistol grip, but because you get best of both worlds with this full-size buttstock, I like it. Now, I'm not a huge fan of the ghost rings personally. You can get this gun without it or get a replacement barrel and you can take this off. Ghost rings are wonderful for slugs, and again, law enforcement guys have to be much more precise, especially with the shotgun. If they get out of hand and start just spraying, innocent people could die. So I understand where they're coming from. I'm just not that big a fan, but I would take this off if this were my gun, but it's a loaner. But again, the trick here is this pump and semi-automatic action with just a flick. I'm gonna shoot this thing some more. Here's some of this Winchester PDX stuff. I'm gonna start out with some buckshot, and I'm going to use the semi-automatic. No surprise there, the Benelli works. The only issue any Benelli has ever had is sometimes this stout inertia spring within the bolt hasn't been able to pull or cycle the lightest loads, like 1 ounce target 12 gauge loads. But in my opinion, defensive guys should never use a 1 ounce load. If you want to use that light of a load, go to a 20 gauge. Regardless, if you wanted to use low recoil, like 1 ounce loads, or even less lethal options. That's why you have the pump option. So look, I'm going to switch that. It unlocks that little clip, and now it's a pump gun. So let's run it in pump mode and see what we got. These are cheap, 1 1/8 target loads. In fact, these are the cheapest of the cheap because they're paper. Paper is not slick. It's has a lot of friction, so if anything won't run well, it's these shells. Runs great too, runs great just like a pump should. I did notice on that last shell, it stays open. The action, almost like it's a semi-automatic, comes back, stays back. So you want to try to pump it up, but you can't. On that last shell, it stays open, which is cool because I just got this gun in, so it's not set up for tactical. But if I was running a side saddle here, that last round, do that, and you'd be ready to go, almost like a semi-automatic. I like that. All right, I'm switching again to semi. I shot buckshot. Let's see if the semi will run these loads. Even though, as a built-in excuse, these guns need a couple 100 rounds break-in period. That's just the truth with semi-automatic shotguns, but here we go. So far, this is just a break-in period, but it doesn't like these lightest loads. But again, these are the cheapest paper hold. They are so light. This case itself doesn't have a lot of momentum. If any shell will jam a semi-automatic, like a Benelli, it's this. But that is why I brought these shells out here. Load it up. And it shoots it. That's the whole point of the Benelli. I'm gonna move back and shoot some slugs just for the hell of it, just because I like punishing myself. If there ever was a shoulder killer, it's these 1 ounce, 1,600 feet per second. These are hunting slugs, rifled slug, hollow point from Winchester Super X. But I shot some of the lightest loads. Now I wanna feel what some of the heavier ones will do, and also kind of check out these ghost ring sights. Woo! Definitely know you've been shooting something there. That's the Benelli M3 Super 90 Combat. It is a badass gun. I'm Jeff Johnston. That's no BS.